Yes, we finally officially know the origin of X's power. Hey everyone, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm the Monio, the interdimensional demon who talks most about To Be Hero X on YouTube, and you're on my channel. Who is this mysterious villain? Did Moon really die? How is Nice alive? Why did Yanqing turn evil? What's Yanmo's plan to revive Zero? And finally, we have the final episode of the first season of To Be Hero X. And no, none of the plot's major mysteries were revealed in this final episode. As most of us expected, it served as a good setup for what we'll have in the second season. The tournament between the protagonists with the return of the original Nice, new heroes, new enemies, a mysterious woman who will be the new main villain, and the revelation of the origin of X's powers. But let's take it one step at a time, and in this final episode of the first season of To Be Hero X, we basically had a fight sequence with X accompanied by Ahu, and another part where X contextualized the entire lore of that world, telling the story of Zero, and how the Commission fears he will become a new Zero. Hero Zero was the hero who had the trust value of practically everyone, which made him practically a god. But one day, he turned evil, and all that trust value turned to fear. He killed the hero, and then several others who tried to stop him, until he was finally defeated, but at the cost of much death and destruction. And that year became known as Year Zero, when the countdown began anew. It was also the year of the creation of the Commission, an organization created to ensure that something like this would never happen again, serving to manage the interaction between heroes and society, investigate dangerous crimes, and regulate heroic activities. Basically, a government entity that controls and oversees the heroes, ensuring they act in accordance with the law and the interests of society. But it's worth noting that the Commission isn't exactly good. Despite its important role, it's portrayed as an organization with questionable and even shady methods, aiming to maintain control and public order at any cost. The Commission fears X precisely because he hides his identity and hasn't joined any agency, so they can't control him. Then, we prepare for the next tournament that will determine the next X hero, and we have all the protagonists from the arc so far, including Nice, to the surprise of many people. But for me, it was already obvious that Nice would return, especially since in the official vote to determine the next X hero, Nice and Lin Ling are competing separately. So, it was quite predictable, in fact, that Nice would eventually return. What I didn't expect is that he would appear so quickly, even in this last episode, and with this strange look, as if his skin were cracked, which confused even the audience who was watching. And the episode ends with a new opening, which basically serves as a preview of the second season. One of the most interesting things about this opening, which few people noticed, is that X's story is told quickly. Basically, all of X's absurd power comes from the people who watch the anime. Yes, that's right, you, the one watching this video, and you participated in the vote to increase the hero's trust value. You helped the anime break the fourth wall and use the vote that actually took place as the justification for X's abilities. So this episode makes it clear that X's powers do come from his trust value, but not from that world's trust value, but from ours. That's why he was able to defeat Queen, even though he was unknown at the time. Another very interesting thing is the new characters that will appear in the second season. Among them, we have this woman, who seems to know X and is already close to him. An interesting detail is that we can see that she also has the X symbol on her tie. So I believe she is his advisor, since at the end of the first episode, X revealed his identity, which until then was secret. It's reasonable to think that now that he's famous, he needs someone to advise him, since he hasn't joined any agency like the other heroes. So this character will manage his public life. We also see this other scene where she appears alongside X and another hero, which could also indicate that she is a heroine. An interesting thing is that there's this scene with the tarot cards, similar to a scene from Lord of Mysteries, which is also a Chinese anime, or Donghua to use the correct term. Interestingly, it's the card that X draws, just like in Lord of Mysteries, and also the Fool card, followed by the Chariot card. And for those who don't know, the Fool card symbolizes new beginnings, freedom, spontaneity, courage, and unlimited potential, representing the impulse to take the first step into the unknown with optimism and creativity. The Chariot card, on the other hand, symbolizes triumph, determination, and overcoming challenges. It represents the strength to take control of your life and direct it firmly, overcoming conflicts and moving forward with purpose. So we can say that the Fool card symbolizes X himself and what he represents in this world, and the Chariot card likely symbolizes the other heroes. A few scenes later, we see the Devil card, which symbolizes addictions, dependence, and can represent the fears, preconceived ideas, and lack of vision that shape our actions. So I believe this card represents the greatest threat we'll face in the second season, but we'll get to that later. Another highlight is this new hero who appears to be X's friend and who appears fighting these black beings that emerge from these monoliths. In the following scenes, we see all the other heroes fighting these beings. One thing that stands out is that Nice appears fighting too, and he doesn't have that strange cracked skin appearance like we saw in the tournament scene, which may indicate that Nice will eventually have his redemption arc and return to his original appearance. Finally, this entire Season 2 teaser ends with the appearance of a woman, who apparently controls these black beings and monoliths, and who will likely be the major threat of the second season. We have no information about her, only the fact that her eyes are golden and her hair has a shade that appears to be pink. The scene highlights her and X facing each other, suggesting that somehow these two characters may be equivalent and will antagonize each other. But I would venture to say she's an alien. But the Monio, seriously? An alien? Isn't that a bit too random? And I'm telling you, maybe not, since aliens canonically exist in this universe, including Loli's armor, which is made of an alien metal that can repel fear. So, since it's established that aliens exist in the story, I think it would be very strange not to use these aliens at some point. I think it would be very interesting, as they're an unknown and unpredictable threat. But what about you? Do you agree? What did you think of the latest episode of To Be Hero X? Leave a comment, and if you liked the video, subscribe to see more content. Until next time my people, demonic hugs.